get an intro, a musical intro this time. I'm here, baby, on the Morgan stand in 2018. Got the beautiful Joe Morgan. Woo!
Anybody got a lighter?
Yeah. Sing the spec of the PR36.
Well, the PR36 is really the Andertons special, is what we should call it, because it was one of Andertons' customers that asked for a really loud PR12. So that's what we gave them. It's a based around the PR12, but we're using 6L6s. Tons more headroom, tons more power, tons more of loud to annoy your neighbors. So yeah. If the PR12 didn't piss your neighbors off, then get the PR36.
Well, I guess the point of the PR12 was to not piss your neighbours off, wasn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
And that's going to have its own customer fan base. But PR36, I mean, it's the clean tone and it's the reverb, isn't it? That's just to die for. Is it the same reverb tank in here as PR12?
Same reverb tank, same phase inverter, which is a cathodion phase inverter, which is kind of special with that particular style. But that gives you that feel. I mean, that's really important for the player. That part stayed the same, but you just got more of that good stuff that you liked before.
Well, speaking of good stuff, Pete, do you want to give us your impression?
My impression? I think it sounds absolutely amazing. That's good.
I know we talk about like pedal amps, but this is almost an amp you don't want to put a pedal in front of because you don't want to. That's the sound, isn't it? It's just
it really is. But I mean, it is super pedal friendly. It'll take any pedal that you want to put in front of it. You'll still sound good.
It does sound amazing. Just in a head version, or does that
a head or a combo?
Yeah,
just like the PR12, you guys carry the head, right? So if you want a PR12 head, Andertons.
Cool, right. We shall jump on to another Morgan juicy toy. Let's go. What's next then?
Right.
Okay, well, the second amp. The second amp is your great friend and Morgan longtime lover.
Yep.
And coming to Andertons actually on the 31st of January.
That's
so literally
awesome.
we fly home. We go, oh my God, I just drove from the NAMM show. And then Josh Smith turns up and he's doing a video and a clinic with us in the evening. So tell us about your history with Josh and how that kind of came
Well,
out.
first off, Josh is like aces. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Back when I was building amps out of my house, I got a call from Josh. I knew who Josh was, and I was surprised that he knew who I was. So he's like, hey, I'd like to come check out amps. Is it okay if I come down? I'm like, yeah. So, and he goes, hey, I'm going to bring a friend so I can carpool. Is it okay if I bring Kirk Fletcher? And I'm like, sure. So Josh and Kirk come down, and they plug into one of my AC20s at the time, and Josh literally played 3 chords, and he started laughing, and he goes, yeah, that's it. And Josh and I have been good friends ever since.
What did he want tweaked then? Because this is presumably based on that.
Yeah, Josh has had my PR12 forever, and he uses that amp more in the studio and gigging around than any of the other amps that I built for him. So much so that, I mean, it's really his grab and go. It's his number one. Josh has had me change a couple of small things in the amp over time. One was I took out just a little touch of bass out of the amp for him.
It sounds sparklier, brighter.
Yeah, and the other thing is,
Fendery maybe.
Exactly. Josh worked with Eminence to make the Josh Smith signature speaker.
Yeah.
That took him a couple of years, but it's his voicing. It's more American. It's more mid-forward, and it's also way more efficient than the greenback that normally comes in a PR12. So it's louder. It's more American sounding, and it's just way more in your face.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we added to this for Josh is because he uses it so much in the studio, is there's a boost switch that adds quite a bit more, like a big mid bump, so that it'll give him some different tones in the studio. And I'll switch that in and out while you guys are playing.
Do it.
I mean, wow. And is this his kind of, he
Yes.
likes this on his amps, doesn't he?
He likes tweed.
Yeah.
So
Tweed.
this comes standard in tweed. That's the way we make it. If you wanted a different color, that's a special order.
Cool.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh! How was the camera? Oh man! Oh man! Man, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know I like your stuff, so I mean, this is really cool. That's a wicked boost feature. Check this out, man. Is that foot switchable then?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
But we can talk.
All right.
It's all right. We'll just use Chris Vella in the videos. He can stand by it and just switch it on and off. Just give him the nod.
No. Bring him to gigs. Yeah. Wow, man, that's really nice. So that's his speaker in the back of this then.
Yes, this is Josh Smith's signature speaker from Eminence.
Yeah.
It's we'll take a look at it.
Turn that thing around, man.
Look at that. It's got a guitar and Josh's signature and everything. It's fancy.
That's very fancy, yeah. Cool. I like it.
I like that a lot. Is there another amp that we can noodle into?
I got two more things for fun for you.
Cool. Okay, here is something I wasn't entirely expecting to see.
Yeah.
But Joe has decided that what the world
making dog
needs
coffins.
is an enormous speaker cabinet.
Yes.
That's kind of flying in the face of what seems fashionable at the moment, but could be good. I like to get back to seeing people with half stacks on stage. But the cool news is, what you haven't done is just ripped off a sort of, an old-fashioned 412 design. You've tried to do this a bit different, right?
Yeah, it came out of a necessity. I had some artists that are playing stadiums, and they want a big presence. They want to have a speaker that's on stage with them, and I'm like, okay, great. And as opposed to doing the same style cabinet that you're going to see in every single spot in here, it's 4 pieces of wood with a back and a baffle that gets screwed in. That baffle, wherever it gets screwed in, transfers the energy. So what ends up happening is it kills your top end and your upper mids, and that's why 4x12s just don't sound good for clean tone. What I've done with this 4x12 is the same thing I do with all my cabinets. It's a dadoed fixed baffle construction. So now that the baffle becomes part of the cabinet becomes part of the baffle, and you can actually get clean tones out of a 4x12.
So the baffle, is like slotted in, is it? Rather
slotted
than
and glued in,
right.
and it's a
So
permanent
it's
part
like
of
one
it.
piece of the cabinet.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why Fender have never really done like a 412? Because it's just not their kind of sound, or?
Probably. I think it's. They did some of those crazy 412s in like the 70s with they were just horrible boxes, right? But it's the same kind of idea. It was the same kind of baffled, it's just not, it just doesn't sound good.
Well, we've plugged this into an SW50R, which is not new, but that's one of the sort of louder amps that you make, isn't it? So
Wake the Neighbor amp.
let's see if you can. I mean, again, I always think close miking 412s in this, it's never that easy to. Maybe we'll try and blend a little bit of my mic in as well.
Doesn't it sound like it's an open back?
Oh, is it closed back?
It's closed back, yeah. Everybody does that. I built the cabinet. I know it's closed. You don't have to look.
I mean, that sounds good.
Fun, huh?
It's not massive either, is it? I mean, it's probably a good 2 or 3 inches all the way around, smaller than something like an orange 412 or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
it's not crazy. It's just right,
But I don't know, 412s. I think we've got to go back into the world of everybody going to gigs in vans and having roadies and everything. But you never know.
Wonderful,
As you
They
say,
make some great fans now.
that's very true.
Yeah.
So the final one, is it the thing that Pete's standing in front of?
Yes.
Oh man, look at this.
The Tweed 20 that's not Tweed.
No, this was an off the menu item that I would build for session players, and I probably made a half a dozen of them, and then last year I did a run of 10.
I think you've overcomplicated the front panel though.
Yeah, this is one of my more complicated amps. If you can't get a good sound out of this amp, you may want to pick up a wind instrument. But yeah, this amp is. I had Rusty Anderson from Paul McCartney's band. He picked up 3 of these, and Rusty doesn't. He prefers no Tolex, so we made some for him without Tolex on them, and this is what his looks like. So we liked it so much that we decided to make some this way. This comes in a standard Tolex. You can get it in tweed. You can get it naked like this.
Is that what all your amps look like underneath the?
Yeah, that's what the wood is. It's the same wood that we have.
Even with the little detail.
No, this, because of my piping, I wanted to keep the. I want to stay brand consistent.
Yes.
Yeah, so they did a really fancy pants wood filler thing.
That looks cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, look, Pete will play us out on the fabulous Tweed 20. But as you are enjoying that now, I shall say au revoir, goodbye, and good luck to Mr. Joe Morgan, who we love very much and have all his amps in Andertons. But yes, have a great show, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Enjoy Josh. I know he's looking forward to seeing you.
Yes, we certainly
Yeah,
will.
that's gonna be good.
Yeah, really good.
See ya, bye.